Anyway, let's continue onward. Coaching staff, scouting, all that's taken care of. We do know that Sebastian Aho is going to be our captain. The other letter goes to our boy Kiviranta, who has been a channel legend for a long, long time. And I do like to have at least one defenseman with the letter, and it's Rasmus Ristolainen getting that other letter. You're damn right. You're damn right Rasmus Ristolainen gets a letter. Now, in terms of value, we don't have much, right? Like, you could argue get rid of Kotkaniemi, but even then his value isn't that much. The important thing for us this next season is that first round pick. Shout out to Lamplight for the 1 whole year. My goodness. Which one was more painful, San Jose or the Leafs? It's like choosing between someone stomping on your left foot and stomping on your right foot. It just wasn't great regardless. But Lamp, thank you for the 1 year on the primer. I'm still trying to recall what I thought was the most painful franchise I've ever had. There have been some painful, painful franchises for sure. Anyway, back on track. Before I lose my train of thought, the draft class. The draft class. Obviously, Bedard, Fantilli, Michkov. The top Finn in this draft. See, the fact that people can sit here and name a bunch of different ones just goes to show you. The top Finn in the draft is Kasper Holtonen, who's projected around 19th. The question is this. Do we trade? There's also Lenny Haminaho. The question is this. Trade the first round pick now, or hold on to it, hope that we're bad, and hope it ends up with more value to really pull off a blockbuster. Not to mention, if we aim to trade that pick around the deadline, maybe someone like Columbus is doing something stupid and trying to trade Patrick Laine, and we can get him for cheap. Because of that, I think we hold on to this pick, just knowing that the value could go up. So we are indeed going to hold on to that, and we'll take it from there. But I don't know how bad this team will be this year. Like, I expect us to be bad because our defense isn't great. Like, our defense is high-end AHL level. But this sim engine, man, you never know. You never know. But we should be bad. We should be. I mean, again, Ville Polka's on our freaking top line. So as more scouts discover that Bedard's franchise. Well, exactly. Exactly. As the season goes on, the game should recognize, like, oh, it's Connor Bedard. And if we're in that bottom 3 to bottom 5, if not dead last in the league, then absolutely this draft pick should skyrocket in value. Having good rated D and goaltenders in the Leaf series didn't help much. Fair. Fucking fair. Can't argue that. All right, 3-6-3. So the opening month of the season. Let's keep going. It's too early to look at numbers. Too early to look at numbers. Henrik Borgstrom has been injured with an injured leg. Cool. Cool. Gotta love getting injured with an injured leg. And Joni Tulola breaks his nose. Oh, so we gotta call up a defenseman. It'll be this guy. Just because he can play both sides. And we will plug him in here on our third pair. Oh, boy. Goalie. Oh! Ville Husso got hurt at the same time. Didn't even tell us about it. Cool. Jesus. And he's been amazing so far this season. But Ville Husso also picks up an injury. Let's get Koivunen back in for And again, AHL team has some non-Finns on it. We'll slowly shuffle them out. We had no choice but to take them. Let's just do head coach replaces player for now. It's fine by me. You know, we're actually hovering around closer to 500 than I would have thought. And as I say that, we lose 4 or 5 straight games. And then beat Edmonton, because Edmonton gonna Edmonton. All right, so, and we lost to Carolina. December 1st, 8-12-6. 6th place out of the now 9 teams in the Metro. Aho's doing pretty well for himself. We might not be bad enough. Boston right now, Boston, Vancouver up there. We are currently 26th out of 33 teams, which isn't bad, but I would prefer us to be worse. Has the trade value of that pick. Now, we're not going to look to move it. We've pretty much decided it's going to be the deadline. It's about the same in terms of value. Now, one thing we do need to do, we need another cap whale. We have way too much cap space. We need another cap whale on this team to really help fill this out. And that way we know that we are not going to be in danger if we get rid of anybody. Etu, I mean, with a name like that, could he be anything else? Congratulations to you, sir. You've won the lottery. Imagine being the team's worse than us. We have a top pairing Risto. Fair. Endo's finish? Fine. I never should have allowed Endo to tell people that I accepted his request of putting him into the game as a terrible player. Oh my, Endo would have to be signed to his ELC. Fuck it. I never should have let people know that he was in there. It was a terrible decision, because now every franchise for the rest of the year, I'm going to have to sign the guy. I know I just went past the dude that I was originally going to sign. I wanted to see if there was anybody else closer to the top. There was not. So congratulations, sir. You're going to win this big time lottery yet again. AHL Calder Cup winner. Endo Mills. It's true. It's true. All right. There we go. So let's hope we start sliding a little bit throughout the next month and throughout the rest of 2022. Coincidentally, same thing. Endo rejected because I have a full roster. Whoops. We'll sign him later. He'll still be there. We'll sign him in the future. For now, he can continue to practice his craft. As we are now dead last in our division, which is great. It's been a little bit since I've been rooting for a team to be bad. Endo doesn't want to do the travel to Finland, which is the furthest thing from the truth in real life. So Aho's still our leading scorer, 11, 20, and 7. The Blue Jackets are worse than us, somehow. Boston still the top team in the league. Vancouver fell off. They're down to 8th. We're now bottom 3 with Chicago and Columbus and Anaheim. Not a bad little result for these custom rosters, if I do say so myself. Not a bad little result. Anyway, I wanted to take a look at league scoring here. So for us, I mean, it's that top line that is carrying hard. Really the top 6 in general. Defensively, oh my God. Rasmus Ristolainen has as many points as 72 overall Veli-Pekka. That is a massive problem. Goaltending-wise, Husso's been phenomenal. We'll have to get him back in there. Kevin Lankinen's actually played pretty well, too. It's been Kaapo Kakkonen to get the majority of the games recently. Hasn't done all that well. Let's see. Entire league. Oh, my God. Shout out to Bork for the follow. I appreciate you. And, yep, everyone told me Andre Burakovsky's broken on my rosters, and he is. He is. But Mikko Rantanen's up there. Connor McDavid. Anthony Duclair. Matthew Tkachuk. Who's the goal-scoring king at the moment? It is Mikko Rantanen with 30. Caulfield's up there. Again, Mikko Rantanen is the dream player to acquire. I just don't see how we're ever going to do it. Shout out to Cale Makar. And 15 goals, 3 assists for Chychrun. Well done. Goalie-wise, the winningest with 21, Vasilevsky. Shutout leader with 7 is Jake Allen. Save percentage-wise, Spencer Knight's been amazing. It's actually Darcy Kemper for Washington. He's crushing it. And the rookie race, 30 points from Matty Beniers. But he is not out of striking distance for a bunch of rookies for this season. Shout out to Jake Allen, who's apparently putting in work. My God. Let's go ahead. Yeah, we got to get Ville Husso back in there. Dev's only rule, got to have as many fins as possible. That is our only rule. It is the return of a nation united. Finnish edition for the second time because, damn it. I mean, again, I'm going back in like 2 weeks. I'm going back in 2 weeks. So, Matches Maselli is an option too. Yeah. 100%. Teuvo Teravainen gets hurt. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. All right, good. We are losing games. We are approaching the Bedard draft, in which hopefully we will have the top odds to be able to pull off an absolute blockbuster at the trade deadline. Outside of free agency. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Olli Juolevi got hurt. That never happens. I'm just kidding. It sucks. I hate it. He should have been really good. February 1st, 12-33-8. We are tanking so well. And game. Okay. Menu lag kicking in again. Beautiful. I would imagine we're the worst team in the league. I should think that we are. It's right where we want to be. That is right where we want to be. This first round pick's value at the deadline is going to be monstrous. And it's an early deadline, too, in February. That doesn't happen often. Okay. Well, let's keep going then. Let's keep going. We know, I mean, again, Kasper Halttunen is the top Finnish option. He's a mid-round pick. Olli Juolevi got hurt again. Oh, no. Oh, Mr. Juolevi. That's... Oh, the Juolevi. Goodness. Couple wins in a row. That's not great. Oh, my God. We've won 4 in a row. Stop it. All right. So, to the deadline we go. We will absolutely list ourselves as sellers. And here we go. How valuable is this pick? Because we're 100% trading it. Okay. All right. Now, before we decide, like, oh, talk to Dallas, talk to Florida, we do have to see what teams have players on the block that we could go for to try and maximize value. Now, the argument is that had we waited with Carolina, maybe we would have been able to get Aho for cheap, given who they always try to frickin' ship out. But you never know. You never know. Oh, we need a miracle here, though. Yeah, Columbus, Dallas, neither looking to get rid of their big names. We need defense. That'll be in due time, my friend. Due time. I mean, Rasmus Kupari's there. We'd have to probably give up a second rounder to get him. Well, there's that Finn from the other draft. Problem is, Ogren is Swedish. Yes. Honestly, I mean, that guy's a bit of a risk, though, right? Generated player from the extra draft. Devils are trying to trade Luke Hughes. That's a choice. Ruslan Ishikov, Russian. Haven't played much since 11 to people play 6v6. Yeah, it is still Arguably the most popular mode at this point. I mean, same with Hut. But at this time of year, like 6 is not necessarily going to be popping off in the Twitch directory, you know? All right. Ottawa, Yarventi, Lassie Thompson. Something else to look at. 2 more prospects, especially Lassie Thompson. In terms of that gigantic impact player, nothing popping off this time here. I don't know if you're looking at my, I don't know if you're looking at what the hell we're doing here, Major, but you watch your goddamn tone with me. Don't you tell me nothing's popping off. We're carrying this fucking directory. It's almost June. Thank you all for being here. I love you guys. So we're not going to be able to maximize the value of this first rounder, which means, again, you know, someone like Colorado, I mean, we just got to hope that by some miracle down the road, they fucking look to get rid of Mikko Rantanen. Otherwise, and Arturi Lehkonen as well. Like, he's just not worth the value we'd have to give up to get him right now. Oldest in Swedish, so that doesn't help. I mean, about time they wanted to get rid of Lehkonen. We could go for him and Simon Taival, but it's not great. Which means, again, we revisit the idea of Patrick Laine on Columbus to pull this off. We bring back, I mean, God, since we already had the Carolina deal, it was Columbus with Patrick Laine as the big acquisition. It is Dallas with Heiskanen or Hintz. And I mean, Miro Heiskanen would be incredible for us. It's Florida. Barkov, way too expensive. But Florida has Anton Lundell. Nashville, it was more prospect-based. Parsonen, Kamel, Kulanumi. So that's not the type of trade that we're necessarily looking at right now. The Rangers, it was Capo Caco, who's already up by 2 points this year. He might be tough to deny. And in Ottawa, it was more prospect-based as well. Again, Yarventi, Thompson, that we could go for. I'm going to rule out Nashville. Let me look at Florida again. I mean, Lundell, 86 overall, 21 years old, 41 points. Damn. He's good. He's good. He is good. Also, Jesper Wallstedt just became a Bruin. You'd love to see it. I mean, you're talking Lundell with Aho, Capo Caco with Aho, Dallas. I mean, if the big defender is Miro Heiskanen. And this might be our best chance to get him. It might be. I think it has to be Heiskanen. Like, I'd love to get Laine. Heiskanen, I think, has a value that we could get with this pick. He's the guy. I think he is. He's the best defender we can get right now. I don't know if this will go through, is the issue. He might be too expensive. Especially because they don't want to trade him. But we can try. If we go Heiskanen in the second and the third, the safety net. Take out the third. I got a feeling we're undervalued, though, for Heiskanen. It's going to be too much. What about straight up? Yeah, Heiskanen's too expensive, as is Hintz. Damn. And again, it's because they don't want to trade him. We don't really have the value to add to the deal all that well. You know, it's like Kapanen, Luosterainen. It's just they're not worth anything, really. At least not enough that's going to change it. And I got to hold on to these other picks here. We're going to rule out Dallas for the moment. The Columbus with Laine, they also have a super valuable first-round pick. Florida doesn't have a first-round pick at all. Shout out Montreal. Nashville has a first. They're not willing to move it. Ottawa has a first. They're not willing to move it. But Tyler Seguin's now a Carolina Hurricane. If we were to go for Ottawa's first, Robbie Yarventi and Lassie Thompson, we get 2 good prospects and still maintain a first-round pick. So is it worth trading the first for Kasper Halttunen, Robbie Yarventi, and Lassie Thompson, or is it worth getting potentially Laine, Kakko, Lundell, and not much else? General depth or one of the best players we can get? That's the question. Let me double check Kaapo Kakko's value. Nashville had prospects, but Ottawa's are better because they're cheaper. I cannot grab Connor Bedard, no. Fins only. Dallas take a first and a second rounder. Could argue. Again, Kaapo Kakko. Signing's not worth much. Rangers do have 2 firsts, but that'd be way too much. I mean, Kaapo Kakko, 22 years old, has a year left on his deal after this. Lundell on Florida. 2 years left on his ELC. And then Laine. I mean, 3 years left after this. Build a team before you get the star players. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It makes sense to get prospects who are going to make sure that we're still bad for a little bit and then try to swoop in and get the stars to push us over the top. I think we got to go for Ottawa. I think we do. I mean, with last time out, it made sense to get a big player in Aho, but we can't do that every time. And again, the fact that the Sens have these 2 guys who are both going to be NHL caliber for us on their trade block, meaning that they're cheaper, works out pretty well. And we'll double check other trades around the league in a minute. Let's add Hetherington to the deal. Now, hopefully this works. Them not wanting to trade that pick could be costly. We did check the draft class, yeah. So there's no way this goes through, right? Quite far off. All right, let's take out a second. Again, this is pretty much our one big trade. Quite far off. Quite far off. Okay, so an extra second rounder certainly won't happen. Unless it's next year. Okay, so that said it's quite close to fair value. So a first this year, their second next year, and 2 prospects. Can I push this over the edge with like Nate Schnarr? Is that enough? God, it's close. Any other players who we aren't allowed to have long term? Honestly, even like Suomi and Päiväranta would be great because they're never going to develop. Hey, all right, we got the deal done. So Ottawa gets what could be the first overall pick, and we essentially traded down to hopefully have this pick be Kasper Halttunen and picked up 2 prospects at the same time. Yarventi is now the second most valuable player on the team, and Thompson's in the top 5. That's some shrewd business right there. That's some pretty shrewd business. I'm, again, fairly happy with how this team is turning up in such a short amount of time. Aside from that, not too much else to do with this deadline. Unless we can trade find, but again, none of these guys have anything going for them. Kaapo Kakkonen, yeah, nothing we can do there. Defensively, I mean, Olli Levy could fetch us a 5th. He's worth more than a 5th for us right now, just due to limited options. So I think we're good. We will see what other kind of crazy deals happened around the league, because it looks like there were a lot of them. As Luke Schenn is on waivers, not allowed to claim him. And we will sim to March 1st. Let's take a look what happened at the deadline. Can you trade fine for your first pick? The one we picked up from Ottawa, I could have, but again, I'm not against holding on to it at the draft because we could just trade it at the draft, right? For now, we can say, hey, we'll use it to get the best finished prospect in the draft. We could also end up trading it. There were some pretty crazy deals. Ottawa brought in Nick Bonino. They gave up Bernard Docker and Sogard. Korpisalo's a Canuck. Dallas picked up Mikhail Backlund. Philip Deneau and Alex Edler are Maple Leafs. Gostisbehere for Sagan. Andreas Janssen for Yamamoto. Wallstead for Lascelles. That's nuts. Jonathan Taves is a Sen. Slavin to Seattle for Brandon Tanev and picks. Athanasiou on his way to Florida. And that's that. Interesting. Fair enough. All right, well, let's finish up this season then. Before we do that, we got to go to roster moves. Again, goalie-wise, we're set. We're good. What was the Alex Holtz trade? I didn't see it. At least it didn't say his name anywhere, so it's probably one of the, he was just a part of a trade, but not the big piece type of bullshit. So Lassie Thompson, welcome to this team. Very happy to have you here. Järventie would be better suited still playing for Tampere. All right, so if we go best lines, yeah, he's on the top line in the AHL, which is great. Again, we'll bring in Koivunen. I don't believe we had another prospect. We did not. Koivunen on a line that works for him, if not the top line. And defensively, nobody to kind of plug in there. That works. And then goalie-wise, Luukkonen up a point already this year. It's not that bad. NHL-wise, go best lines. It has an interesting setup. I honestly don't mind the -2 for the fourth line. I really don't. Yeah, it has Puljujarvi on the top line. Mikkola Risto, Olli Levy, and Thompson, not a good fit. Let's go with Veli-Pekka and Lassie Thompson. Olli Levy on that third pair. So the defense, as bad as it looks, does look better with Lassie Thompson on the team. So it's good. It's good. That's good. Let's keep it going. Wrap up this season. See where the hell that draft pick is from Ottawa. And again, if you never know, Ottawa could miss the playoffs. We have no idea what the hell is going to happen with them. All we know is we still have a first-round pick in the mix, which is amazing news for us. You know, again, get 2 decent prospects, a second-round pick, and maintain a first, knowing we can't take Connor Bedard first overall. I'm very happy with that. And 25 wins looks to be a bit of a long shot here. And I say that, we win 2 in a row. So 5 games left this season. We'll just sim it all. We'll take a look around the league and see how it plays out from there. I say 25 wins is a long shot. We start winning games hand over fist and then lose. That's great. That's fun. All right, 26, 47, and 9 to wrap up our first season with the team. First and foremost, Sebastian Aho. 74 points, 41 goals, which is outstanding. Teuvo Teravainen, Kapanen broke 50. Jake, I'm going to give you a minute to guess if you can guess the theme. You got Erik Haula, Kakaniemi. Honestly, I mean, Puljujarvi scored less than Yoel Armia. That's disappointing. But all things considered, not that bad. Risto, 26 points for Risto. All right. That's okay, I guess. And goaltending-wise, Husso and Lankinen. Lankinen only played 9 games, but Husso and Lankinen did pretty damn well. 9-14 for Ville Husso this year. Maybe he'll get an overall spike and will be easier to get rid of. AHL-wise, Carl Dahlstrom led the way. Henrik Borgstrom was up there, too. Good to know. Good to know. So, around the league. I'm gonna have to make sure his information's updated for like my end of year roster update, because Jesus, he's just broken. Andre Burakovsky outduels Mikko Rantanen. Connor McDavid, Nick Ehlers also break 100 points, which is goddamn hilarious. Why is Burakovsky broken? He just is. He just is. Like, he doesn't have like a super elite. I mean, he has the accuracy, good passing. His offensive awareness isn't that good. It's just, for whatever reason, it's just like, yeah, he's elite. It's ridiculous. Like, again, he's certainly not bad. You would expect him to be good. You would not expect him to outduel Connor fucking McDavid. It likely does come down to a high shot bias, but then again, McDavid has a high shot bias. So, could it be poise? No. No. I mean, especially because everyone has high poise on my rosters, because poise is not a big attribute at all. Again, for those who don't know, in regards to poise, people are like, oh, whatever. Poise is a legacy stat. If you remember, like NHL 06, there was star rating. That is essentially what poise is. For a long time, people thought, oh, was it tied to how good someone is in the playoffs? No. Direct from EA's development team that I sat down and talked to in Vancouver 4 years ago. It is leftover, essentially, star factor, that attribute, except they tuned it down as much as they possibly can. Essentially, it would just be too big of a bitch to take out via coding, is my understanding. Now, if they'd like to speak publicly and correct me, that's fine. I think everyone would welcome that. But that was the message that was relayed to me in regards to poise and how it's just kind of there right now. It does slightly make people better, but it's not this huge modifier, especially for playoffs or anything like that. Friggin' Alex Ovechkin. Man, there were a lot of 50-goal scorers. Jesus. But yeah, we need to get our hands on Mikko Rantanen. That's going to be the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge of this series is, can we get Mikko Rantanen? And then Cale Makar and John Carlson, both at least a point per game, if not over. The goal-scoring king was Makar with 31. No real surprise there. Goalie-wise, the winningest with 41 is technically Andrei Vasilevsky, doing it in fewer games than Kemper and Campbell. Shutout leader with 9 was Jake Allen. Shout out to Jake Allen, just getting it done somehow. Save percentage king, by the way. Jesus Christ, Joseph Wall. Realistic. For starters, it's Kemper, but Spencer Knight had a crazy season. Shout out to Sam Montembeault. Montreal just had really good goaltending. And the rookie race, Mason McTavish likely outduels Matty Beniers. It's going to be close. They might give it to Beniers based off of the goals scored. Kuzmenko and Perfetti were really in that race too. So that was a crazy, crazy rookie race. 100%. So let us find out. As we know, playoff-wise, a certain team didn't make it. In the West, Colorado, Winnipeg, Minnesota, St. Louis, Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Vegas. In the East, Philly, New Jersey, Washington, Montreal, Boston, Tampa, Florida, and Toronto. Shout out to Beamer for the follow. The Ottawa Senators did not make the playoffs, which means despite giving up our own pick, we still have a lottery pick. We just fleeced Ottawa based off the limitations that we have in terms of how we build our team. Absolutely fleeced Ottawa. Let's find out, because the AHL team for us did not make the playoffs. No surprise there. Let's find out who is going to win the Stanley Cup in Season 1. And then the biggest thing for us is the lottery results, man. This could be huge. This could be amazing for us. What do we got? Season 1, Stanley Cup goes to the Edmonton Oilers. If only, Oilers fans. If only. Am I right? If only. Edmonton gets it done. Connor McDavid, everyone's favorite Finn, as the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, sweeping the Florida Panthers, who, by the way, beat Boston and Toronto, as well as New Jersey, to get there. So McDavid Einen. That's the way. That's the way. Calder Cup goes to the Cleveland Monsters over the Iowa Wild in 7. We will take a look at the Oilers. Obviously, it's the Season 1 Oilers. We pretty much know who's going to be there. But led by Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Darnell Nurse. Evander Kane actually showed up, and how you know this game is unrealistic because he only took 6 penalty minutes. And they ran with Jack Campbell. See, Oilers fans, that's what could have happened if you guys went with Jack Campbell. That's what could have happened. Let's see. Should have kept the pick, drafted McDavid, and then gotten ran. And it's cheesy. It's cheesy. It's cheesy. We don't need to be that cheesy to build a good team. We'll be fine. Burakovsky won the Art Ross, LOL, and the Hart. Cale Makar wins his second Norris. Calder did go to Mason McTavish. Conn Smythe the Draisaitl. Kemper wins the Vezina. Barkov wins the Selke. Burakovsky to Ted Lindsay, and Alexander Ovechkin the Rocket Richard. In the AHL, Pontus Holmberg scored the most points. He was also league MVP. Nico Hatanen with the most goals. Holmberg was the top rookie. Top defender, Anton Strahlman. Top goaltender, Dustin Wolf. And the MVP of the playoffs was Alex Holtz, who again somehow ended up on the Cleveland Monsters, but fair enough. I am also surprised it wasn't Beniers. Big moment coming up with this draft lottery. We won the extra drafts, moving up to number 1. We traded our own pick. Top lottery odds, we're quite sure, for that pick to Ottawa for prospects in Ottawa's pick. And indeed, so Ottawa has our pick, top lottery odds, barely, over Chicago. We have Ottawa's pick. They did not make the playoffs. Could there be some extra magic here? And at the very least, that could line us up to take Kasper Hultinen, the top Finn, in the draft. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? I want to go day by day to build the anticipation. The winner of the draft lottery damn. Poor Ottawa, by the way. So we hold at 14th with Ottawa's selection. San Jose and Los Angeles move up as the Sens get boned. But at 14, I mean, not bad, man. Not bad. Couldn't make a selection with the 3rd pick anyway. We end up with 2 prospects, a 2nd and the 14th overall pick. I'm pretty damn happy with that.